Joe, here we are again at another Scuba decompression session. Here today is the was it the 12th of May, or excuse me, April. My goodness. You believe we're in the middle of April already in 2023?
Yeah, and taxes would have been due, but that's been delayed.
Well, yeah, for California especially, they said we not to do something because of some confusion. I don't know what that means. I'm not going to worry about that. One of these days we'll get that figured out. But hey, this is a really interesting time. You and I were chatting earlier about what's been going on in the high-tech world, which is actually bleeding over beyond high-tech in terms of the challenges of right-sizing or downsizing, whatever they want to call it. And that's having some kind of a significant impact on what's going on in a lot of areas, the real estate market, the commercial real estate market, the job market, et cetera, et cetera. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, as with everything, when one door closes, two or three more open up. So it's an opportunity for employees to say, hey, what do I want to do next? What's the next chapter in my life? In my book, where am I going next?
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm seeing is a lot of people are looking at it and says, hey, maybe I should start up my own business. Maybe I should go do something on my own. Maybe I should look at the gig economy and look at, what are the gigs going on? So it's a time for a lot of people to reevaluate what's going on and where they're going. And that's an exciting time for people.
I think you've hit a really important component, and that's people look at these situations and they tend to freak out. I'm going to share my screen here because I saw some information just today from TechCrunch that was identifying in January, February, and March the number of people laid off from all kinds of companies in the space. And there's a whole long list of them. And then they just started some things here in April with Apple laying off some people. But these are some pretty impressive numbers, I mean, we're talking, well, 150,000 people or something like that.
The last number I saw was 250,000 people.
250,000 people
have been laid off. That's the size of that's a pretty big city.
Yeah, no, that is a goodly number of people.
Yeah, and that's an opportunity for 250,000 people to stop and say, okay, where am I going next?
So what kind of thing do you need to think about if you are in a situation like that and you want to consider the possibility? What should you be putting your attention on?
So what I like to, in fact, I've done this 3 times in this week. Get a piece of paper and write down on one, and draw a line right down the middle. And you get 2 pieces of paper and it looks something like this. You write what you're good at, what you're not good at, and then what you like to do and what you don't like to do. And then take those 2 sheets of paper of what you're good at and what you like to do, and that will start getting clarity on what you want to be doing as you move into the future. Okay,
cool.
So that could be whether it's a job, whether it's starting your own business, whether it's starting a gig, whatever. If you build, starting your own business is not for everybody. This is why 87% of businesses never make it past year 2. And they don't know how to build the house.
Right.
So, for example, my wife would never start her own business. That's just not who she is.
She's not in her DNA, right?
It's okay, but she does know what she likes to do and what she doesn't like to do, and what she's good at and what she's not good at. And her job is focused on what she likes to do and what she's good at.
And I think you've hit a real significant item there, because for regardless of what the individual's circumstance is, if they go through that process of identifying what they're good at and what they're not good at, what they like to do and what they don't like to do, it can help them identify a career path, that might be relevant. it can help them define a entrepreneurial path that might be relevant. It
Yep.
can help them determine a social involvement path that might be relevant. So it really gives them that kind of clarity on what's right for me.
Okay, so you know me well enough now, Dave. I'm going to refer to a book, Good to Great by Jim Collins,
Okay.
specifically page 118, and it's called I believe he calls it the hedgehog concept. And it talks about, it's a Venn diagram.
Yeah.
And the Venn diagram is, what are you deeply passionate about? What can you be the best in the world at? And what drives your economic engine?
Mm.
And it's very similar to what I just talked about with a sheet of paper.
Mm-hmm.
Some people get tied up into what can I be in the best in the world at. I say, what can you be in the best 10% at?
Yeah.
Because that's good. And what are you deeply passionate about? That's what typically what you like to do.
Mm-hmm.
This is what you're good at, and this is how can you make money at it?
Right.
And do you need to make money?
Right. Right.
If you don't need to make money and you're independently wealthy, you might go volunteer at the veterans hospital.
Sure.
And maybe that's something you're passionate about. But those are all things that need to be put into the equation to create clarity, to put your action plan together.
Makes sense. I want to ask you a little bit about that percentage or that grouping of folks who, when they look at, and if they go through this exercise and they're saying, yeah, maybe it is appropriate for me to do my own thing. I've got these skills. I know I like to do this, blah, blah, blah. How does brainSHARE offer them some kind of opportunity? I mean, you got a person that's maybe they're at a managerial level in another company, maybe they're just at the employee level at another company. What does brainSHARE have that they can help them with?
Well, so once you decide you want to go down that path, what I recommend is give me a call, because what I'm going to say is, okay, let's develop a basic business plan. So what I point people to is SBA.gov, which gives you a basic business plan, gives you some funding options, and gives you a competitive analysis and a process to walk through before you start actually building the business. Once you've got that kind of the blueprint, then you take this blueprint and say, okay, what's the ultimate goal? And we start walking through building a business that works without you.
It sounds to be like where, I'm going to share my screen again, where what has been set up for brainSHARE.online, the opportunities to maybe start something, or maybe just pick up some knowledge on a particular area like sales training or goal setting or whatever, might be very relevant for somebody.
Yeah, so let's pretend that you've been a sales manager for 20 years. And you probably don't need sales and marketing training. You might need some goal setting training, or maybe you already know that, or maybe you need some, you know what, I don't know how to put together processes, or I don't know my financials, or I don't, my calendar is empty.
Yeah, there you go. The calendaring system, and absolutely.
Because time's our most valuable asset. How we utilize our time will determine the success of our life and our business.
Right.
Most people, they might have been through a time management training, 30 years ago. Well, the world's changed a little bit, and so is some of the tool sets.
You said something to me one time not too long ago. There's a big, you can't truly manage time. What you can manage is how you utilize your time.
Yes, it's time. Well, I know Einstein says time is a variable, but from our perspective, time's a constant. It's how we utilize our time.
Right.
And you have complete control over that. You can't make more time.
Yeah. One of the other thing that comes to mind here to me, we got a lot of clients that are part of the brainSHARE family. And in this current economic scenario where interest rates continue to go up, inflation has not really stopped, right? The banking situation, where there's challenges at the banks, et cetera, it is possible that some of our clients may have a need to make some changes within their hiring structure. And it could be an opportunity, helping the employee that may need to be separated with this process could actually be a very helpful and useful thing that would empower the person who needs to be separated, rather than just cutting them loose and letting them flail around. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I mean, when I worked for the Fortune 50 company, for that, the HP, for years and years and years, we actually had a plan when somebody was left the company.
Mhm,
There was a transition plan that says, hey, here's resources for you. Here's
mhm,
some training that's maybe available. Here's a grant that's maybe available. Here's
mhm,
resources for you to ease that transition, whether it was voluntary, involuntary, whatever. But there's still those resources that are available to you that you've got to take some action and say, you know what, I'm going to go embrace that.
mhm, mhm,
And you talked about a lot of these external things that are affecting people's mentality, their modality, everything. And I like to say this: the only economy that matters is your economy, and you have complete control over that.
mhm.
Okay, so the interest rates, guess what? We don't have control over that. The banking, we don't have control of it. The layoffs, we don't have control. We don't have control over a lot of that stuff. But what we do have control over is what we do when we wake up in the morning and what we do before we go to bed. And
Mhm.
we have complete control over that to get us to where we want to go. If you
Right.
don't utilize that, then I can't, nobody can help you.
Yeah, that's,
It's
yeah,
like, what was the old saying? If you want to learn, nobody can stop you. If you don't want to learn, nobody can help you.
you're right. There you go. And with that, Joe, I think we need to sign off here of our every other week scuba session. Thank you for your words of wisdom, and folks, hope you're take this to heart. If you've got a situation either within your company, or maybe you're a solopreneur who has a scenario and you need to make a shift, maybe you need to adjust your business modeling, because when you do your likes and dislikes and what you're good at and what you're not good at, maybe it leads your company in a different direction. This is a great opportunity for you. Reach out here at brainSHARE. Would be excited to assist in that sort of thing. So, Joe, thanks again for your time today. And
My honor. And go to brainSHARE.online and go, look at some of those courses. I just went through the mindset course with another client
oh
that
yeah,
they had kind of skipped, and they went back and they said, hey, here's how decision process made easy. There's a lot of mindset stuff that can help and get things moving
exactly.
expediently. Don't just sit there. And if you get stuck, at the top of brainSHARE Online, it says schedule a time.
Yeah,
Let's chat about it. We're here to help businesses and the business community.
very good. Thanks a lot, Joe. We'll
Thank
see
you,
you
Dave.
later.
Good to see you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.